All the girls that's here for the truth, come put both hands on a DJ booth. Then wind your waist to the big man sound. And I get too stiff cause I think too round. Good God, make me lift up your gown, but your face so sweet, wanna spin you around. If I go link gang, I'll bring you around. If I go to the bar, I'll bring you around. Which one? Which one? You're not like the things you're around. You're a real good girl, so I'm ringing you down. But come to the bed, I'll fling you around. These guys can't make songs for the girl, them. Trust me, this how the single should sound. For anyone that's bringing you down, sweetheart, you're doing your
Let's go through a week of high protein meal prep as someone who works full time. For lunch, I wanted taco bowls, so I made this super easy crock pot chicken and I let that cook while I start on my breakfast for the week. This protein for oats is a game changer for my overnight oats. It is so good. Sometimes I get sick of having the same thing for breakfast every day, so I also made some protein waffles to have for the week. These are very easy to make and I just pop them in the microwave whenever I want one. After about 3 hours, I shredded my chicken and I started on my veggies. I got a mix of bell peppers and onions and I did a bunch of seasonings and then baked that. Lastly, I made some jasmine rice in my rice cooker and then everything was ready. Then I assembled my bowls, which is the rice, chicken, and peppers. Throughout the week, I reheat them in the microwave and I top them with avocado and pico.
Here are some high protein meals I made in 1 hour for me and my husband. Millions of you guys loved my last 1 hour meal prep, so I'm back with more easy meal ideas. Starting with breakfast, I've been such a savory breakfast girl lately, so I'm making some bacon cheddar breakfast wraps. I have instructions on my website on how to do the eggs baked or scrambled, but today I did baked so I can multitask and do everything else while they cook. Lunch I found is the easiest time for me to pack in lots of fresh veggies, so I'm making this high protein Italian pasta salad. I'm using chickpea pasta, and I hand crushed my own olives, imported from Italy of course. For my favorite organic make Italian dressing from scratch. This one comes together so quick. The only thing you have to cook is the pasta. Just chop the rest, mix it up, and you're good to go. This is one of my most popular recipes for good reason. Not only is it simple and delicious, but it packs 32 grams of protein per serving. And honestly, it's even better the longer it sits in the fridge, so it's perfect for meal prep. For dinner, I made some ground beef and broccoli. Basically beef and broccoli, but just with ground beef to make it easy. This one I feel like tastes 10 times better than it looks. It is so good. By this time, my eggs were completely cooled for my breakfast wraps. I used some microwavable bacon just for convenience. You could totally use whatever cheese, whatever breakfast meat you want for these. And the baked eggs are actually really convenient for wrapping since they are just one piece and really compact. I wrapped all of those up, and then for some fruit this week, I just picked up some cuties and bananas that I'm probably gonna have to wait till next week to eat, and of course a little sweet treat.
Here's everything I meal prepped for the week for me and my husband who both work in healthcare. Starting off with these snack packs. These are so helpful to just have ready to go, especially on busy days. I loved last week's combination, so of course I had to repeat. I'm just using chopsticks, Gouda cheese, and strawberries. Now on to my current hyperfixation, which are these sweet potato ground beef bowls. I seasoned these up real good, and then my husband just used a packet of taco seasoning for the ground beef. Now for the best part is this corn and cottage cheese concoction. To a bowl I added 2 cans of corn, blended cottage cheese, jalapeno, cilantro, lime juice, salt to taste, and this Trader Joe's tahini. Such an easy meal to prep, but packed with so much flavor. Now it's time for our healthy-ish sweet treat. This is supposed to be like a Reese's Cups dupe. I feel like it's a really good alternative. To a bowl I added 1 cup of Greek yogurt, 1 cup of PB Fit, and 2 tablespoons of honey. Mix and then roll them into balls, and then the fun part is coating them in dark chocolate. Let those sit in the fridge for a few minutes, and then enjoy your healthy-ish Reese's peanut butter cup. And that concludes everything I meal prepped for the week.
High protein meal prep for the week. Let me show you guys how I made it. I've lost over 150 pounds, and here's one of my favorite high protein, low carb meals. It's great for meal prep and super easy to make, so it makes a great weeknight meal as well. Start by browning 1 pound of lean ground meat. I'm using ground turkey here. Once that is almost done cooking, add in some garlic powder, salt, pepper, and crushed red pepper flakes. Allow that to finish cooking and stir it around. Then you're going to add in 1 bag of coleslaw mix. I think for mine, I ended up using about 1.5 bags, but you can kind of gauge that on how much you like. Stir that around in there, and then add in a 1/3 cup of coconut aminos or low sodium soy sauce. Give it a nice stir, cover it, and let it cook over medium heat for about 3 to 5 minutes. You can top this with some sriracha mayo, or I made some sweet chili mayo sauce for ours, and I just used a little bit of mayonnaise and some G-Hue sugar-free sweet and spicy chili sauce. Here is my portion, and of course the taste test. This one reheats so nicely and it is delicious. If you guys try it, let me know what you think.
Let's make high-protein taco potato bowls that are perfect for meal prep. I started with the potatoes, peeled them, chopped them small, patted them dry, then added them to a pan with a little olive oil, salt, garlic powder, and pepper. I let them cook for about 5 minutes until they got golden, added a splash of water, covered the pan so they softened, then uncovered them again to crisp back up. While those cooked, I sauteed onion and garlic, which by the way, that smell is to die for, added ground beef, and seasoned it with salt, garlic powder, and taco seasoning. Now build your bowl. Potatoes, beef, a little shredded cheese, pico, half an avocado, and some hot sauce. This made 1 bowl for now and about 3 meal prep bowls for the rest of the week. Around 500 calories with almost 40 grams of protein per bowl.
Welcome back to another easy high protein meal prep. Whenever I'm craving the McDonald's breakfast muffins, I make these. Today I made them with eggs, cheese, and turkey sausage. They are super lazy girl friendly. I always make these when I have zero motivation to meal prep. For some fruit, I washed and dried some blueberries. If you completely dry your berries, I'm telling you they will last 10 times longer. For lunch, I decided to make a ginormous Greek pasta salad. I used a chickpea pasta today for a little bit more protein, and I just make my own vinaigrette with the ingredients I already have at home. This one has a ton of veggies, so I usually wait to add some salt before eating. That way it doesn't draw as much moisture out of the veggies, which could make it get a little soggy. So good though. I'm obsessed with a good cold pasta salad. Then I tossed some rice into my rice cooker and shredded my Korean barbecue chicken that had been cooking in the crock pot all day. Crock pot chicken is just next level. It falls apart. It is so delicious. You can eat it tons of different ways. Once my rice was done, I tossed that into some containers with some steamed broccoli to go with my chicken. Last but not least, I made a huge batch of cottage cheese vanilla protein ice cream for a little sweet treat. Just under 40 grams for the whole pint and so delicious.
Here's everything I prepped this week for my boyfriend and I for a healthy week ahead. And I only did a little bit this week because I'm feeling lazy. For a quick bite in the morning for breakfast or a high protein snack throughout the day, I made sausage, egg, veggie biscuits. I used turkey sausage for this one, jalapenos, bell peppers, onions, added eggs to some almond flour with some cheese, baked it all up, and then I'll have these as a little bite in the morning. Next, for another quick bite, this is mostly for my boyfriend, I made pumpkin and walnut protein muffins. I just feel like this is a perfect pre-workout snack or something to have in the morning that's light but also has protein in it. Plus it's fall, so we love pumpkin this time of year. I also did like a slightly candied walnuts, made those, added them into the mixture, and then I baked those babies up. And they are ready to go. They were so good and moist. Lastly, for the fully prepped meal, I made beef fried rice. I was feeling lazy today, so this is like very simple. You just add everything into the pan, mix it all up. I use the veggies from the frozen section at Walmart, so there's like minimal prep to make this, which we love. Then I stored them in containers and we are ready for the week.
Week 2 of Summer Shred. Here are some high protein meal preps that will help you reach your fitness goals and still taste good. First meal is a classic. We are going Whole30 spaghetti. All you need is 5 ingredients. Start cooking your pasta and then seasoning your meat. I did salt, garlic, pepper, and Italian seasoning, and then you add in half of an onion, 1 egg, and then mix. Honestly, this is best to just mix with your hands. And then you just start forming into little meatballs. This makes 4 meals, so I tried to do an even number of meatballs. Try and make them as close to the same size as you can, but you know, not all balls are perfect. Okay, and then you just split into 4 equal servings. I weigh everything out so that it's accurate. And something that I love about pasta is it's one of those meals that tastes even better the next day. Yeah, super simple, easy, and delicious. Meal number 2 is a repeat of last week. I ate this meal up, which is how you know it's a good meal prep, because if I make something I don't like, I'm gonna find every excuse to not eat it. But anyway, we are going a breakfast scramble bowl, and this one's even easier than the first one. Only 3 ingredients: beef, potatoes, and egg whites, and it's a 1-pan meal. I use the spicy taco seasoning to season it, and it's literally done. Like, it can't get easier than that. And like I said, it tastes so good. I topped mine with avocado, homemade salsa. The macros are amazing. You could put this in tacos, eat it alone, but that is our meal prep of the week.
If you stick around and watch this video for 30 seconds, you will see just how easy it is to make a high protein, delicious meal prep. We're doing a creamy tomato chicken penne pasta. It's super high protein, over 30 grams per serve. We're making 5 serves, so you are sorted for lunch for the entire week. This is such a staple in my house. We have this pretty much every week. You need protein pasta, chicken breast, Italian crushed tomatoes with basil and oregano, light thickened cream, and I like to add zucchini, but you can kind of put whatever you want in it. And if you love this, I post videos like this weekly, so make sure you hit that follow button.
Week 2 of meal prep Mondays, and let me show you guys how I made it.
My favorite high protein dinner is this chicken and rice bowl. It's super easy. I start by marinating the chicken and adding some seasonings and set that to the side. This is more of like a pepper stir fry dish, which I've been obsessed with lately. And the cornstarch is the secret to adding that little crisp. I also make a sauce that's gonna go in my stir fry later, but it's kind of the same things. Soy sauce, sesame oil, garlic, ginger, brown sugar, black pepper, and that cornstarch again. Cornstarch is really good for thickening sauces, so that's why I love to use it in anything that I have soy sauce in. It really just adds that extra bit of flavor. I'm honestly proud of myself for cooking the chicken in the pan. I normally just use the air fryer, but I toss onion and garlic into the same pan, as well as my other veggies. You can really use anything you want, and then I add some water to soften them up a little bit. But you can see that sauce start to thicken, and to add a little bit more protein, I love to add just a little fried egg on top. I cooked this rice yesterday, and I learned a fun fact about rice, and that day-old rice has more resistant starches, so it keeps you fuller longer. Topped it with some everything but the bagel and some green onions, and loved it.
Little news flash, you don't have to eat the same old boring meals every single day to reach your fitness goals. So let's make a Marry Me chicken pasta recipe that's 530 calories and 55 grams of protein. To start, we're going to take 12 ounces of chicken tenderloin, and here you can see how I get that nasty part out. We never want that in our chicken. We're going to cut it into nice little cubes to whatever size of your liking. Once finished with that, we're going to take 10 ounces of dry pasta. I did not use protein pasta, but you can if you would like to up your protein. Let that boil for about 12 minutes. Now let's season our chicken with paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. I am always eyeballing it, but I would say about a tablespoon for each. Mix up your seasoned chicken. Then in a pan on medium heat, I'm going to put in a teaspoon olive oil, 1 tablespoon minced garlic, diced onion. I added a little bit of water so it didn't get dried out, and then I added 1 teaspoon of oregano and 1 teaspoon of pepper. Add in your chicken, of course, still on a medium heat or 6. Add in 60 milliliters of tomato paste, 240 milliliters of chicken broth, and 80 grams of Parmesan. Don't be scared to add a little bit more. Note to continuously stir as you add in ingredients. Then I blended up 150 grams of cottage cheese. Then I added in my pasta, and I also added an additional mozzarella cheese and Parmesan just because I'm a cheese girl. A little bit of basil for extra flavor. This recipe makes 4 servings, 530 calories, 55 grams of protein.
If you're trying to lose fat and build muscle, do not sleep on this recipe. During my cut last year leading up to summer, I literally had this every single night, and I swear to God, I have never looked more snatched. All you really do is air fry some sweet potatoes, and then you just cook some ground beef. I make sure to cook it on one side for a few minutes before chopping it up so it has a really nice sear. And then I season the fuck out of that hoe because we need that flavor. And listen, I get it. Avocado, sweet potato, beef, cottage cheese, and honey. It all sounds very fucking weird. But don't judge until you try it because it low-key hits, and it makes you sexy. So try this recipe out and let me know what you think.
I just prepped some food for the week, so I'm going to show you everything that I made. Okay, here's everything. Starting over here, I sliced up some cucumbers, and then I just have some carrots soaking in water. I do this just for easy snacking when I get home from work. I sliced up some lemons and limes to go with our hot water. I use that kettle over there, and I have hot water in the morning and at night. Green beans that I made in the air fryer, I just add Kinder's The Blend seasoning and then avocado oil, and I did 380 degrees for 10 minutes. Egg bites, which came out really well. I posted a video on how I make these. For proteins, I did ground beef, and then I used my crock pot for the first time in a long time. This is supposed to be a cilantro lime chicken. I still have to add the cilantro, but that came out really well. And then for carbs, I did sweet potato fries in the oven, and then this is bone broth rice. This is the bone broth that I use, and then that's the rice that I use, and that's everything. We're all set for the week.
You're welcome.
You didn't do any of it.
You know you want to put those beans to use. Let's make a rice bowl. Get some rice in your bowl, add some diced avocado, some thinly sliced red onion, and those beans we made earlier this week. Top it all with salsa, and you've got a delicious lunch. Buen provecho.